No.
Yes. I just flung Jenny McDermott's mug on you, and you're just gonna sit there and take it. How do you feel, Animancer?
Oh man, it's too late to end the episode.
I want every radio station to know that when you play Michael Jackson,
oh man,
you're triggering victims of child abuse.
So there you go.
I don't know what to say. The precedent for years has been that usually it tends to be that up until very recently it's been that even if an artist does really fucked up shit, what matters is their ratings and how many people enjoy them. You can say what you want about Michael Jackson, but a lot of people still really enjoy his music and what he has to, like. I mean, a lot of these people who play these music, they pay for the royalties for this too. So it's not something they're too willing to part with under most cases.
He may have raped some kids, but he did make some fucking dope tracks.
Yeah. Can't
Which,
deny that.
you know, if you really think about it, kind of justifies. I don't know.
Balances it out, you know.
Oh my god, dude! Here's why Underhaven's no longer on Twitch.
Twitch, we're joking. It's fine. We're joking.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos. Yeah. It's A-okay.
Please.
You're saying that you stand with popularity over the support of a smaller portion of your audience that have gone through something extremely traumatic that I think should be punished.
So how is this any different from how things normally work? I mean, at the end of the day, the fucking majority of people, when it comes to money talking, that's what's gonna have the impact on these corporations. If you have a problem with it, then I'm sorry to say, but there's plenty of other instances in our culture where there's shit like that, and you could point that out and have an issue with it. But I don't see you doing that. I don't see you tackling this as a broad issue. I think that you just don't like Michael Jackson, so you're making this video, honestly.
No.
And say what you want about Michael Jackson, but there's nothing confirmed for absolute certainty about him. So,
like, I know this is kind of fucked up to say, but honestly, like, isn't it on those people to just kind of like deal with living in the reality they do?
Yeah,
I mean, like, you know,
I
just want to emphasize, like, I do have some level of sympathy for anyone who's been through that kind of shit. Obviously, yeah, I do. But, I mean, like, when it gets to the point where it's like, you know, even radio stations can't play this particular song because the person who wrote it might have done something. It's like, okay, well, at that point, it's on you.
Dude, here's how I feel as someone who's dealt with a lot of tragic shit. Honestly, I feel like part of getting over it and accepting it is being able to move on and not have the entire world try and like pander to you and like make you feel easy. Like it needs to come from you internally. Like you need to come to terms with it, even if some very terrible shit's happened to you. It's just something that you got to get over. Another hurdle that you got to get over. Because if you don't ever get over it, then you're gonna get hurt eventually, and that's just the sad truth of it. You know, that's just part of living life.
This is a really interesting subjects, like the subject of like trigger warnings, if you will.
Sure.
Especially as like, I mean, I consider myself a very sort of like, in my political beliefs, I'm a very liberal person. You know what I mean? I'd probably say my political beliefs are borderline socialist in a lot of ways. But I think that there's like, because of that, like I obviously have a lot of left-leaning viewers and things like that who believe that, especially these days, that trigger warnings are like a thing that should be on everything. And I don't really agree with that, I suppose. You know what I mean? It's like, especially in what I do, I play a lot of like horror games with disturbing content and things like that for a living. And a lot of people will expect to have a warning at the start of something that may, in my opinion, spoil the story, that kind of thing. So you have to.
Sure, that's fine too. I definitely understand that. Yeah.
It's very difficult to get like a balance between the two, is what I mean. I find it very difficult to get a balance between. I have sympathy for people who've suffered traumatic things, and I do understand I do understand why having a trigger warning benefits them and things like that. But at the same time, you know, I do have, I guess, like a slightly more hardline view on the fact that I think that to a certain degree, you can't pander to everyone. You can't wrap everything in like, you know, like in silk or like wear kid gloves for everything. It's a very difficult thing to balance from what I do.
I agree, and that's the thing about the internet too. It's still like the Wild West, and there's new conversations being started up about things like this. It really is difficult to draw like a blanket statement about any of these things. I will agree with that, definitely.
by death.
But this is Jenny McDermott, so of course I'm annoyed by what
You're saying that in the face of grown men coming forward, and one of these men is really famous, Wade Robson.
Okay, so he's famous, so that means that he must be right?
You are willing to...
Why else would you bring up that he's
this...
famous if you weren't going to try and make that statement? Oh, this person's well-known, so you should believe what they have to say. It's like, okay, Michael Jackson was well-known, too. Whatever.
This person is, like, famous, so, you know,
like,
what they say matters.
Like that, but, you know.
In my mind, she does. Because, I mean, like, what she's saying is on par with that.
Garbage. This, like, pop...
Oh, there you go. This, like... See, I've been vindicated. Merely seconds after I said something.
Literally seconds, yeah. Holy shit. Whatever, you win.
Fucking bullshit garbage. Shitty music.
If you have a smart speaker.
Over.
What?
What the fuck just happened to the camera?
Yeah, play that again, Swegta. Can you kind of see that again? That was a weird. That was.
If you have a smart speaker.
Okay, so they began playing an ad, and she's like, "Oh, time to turn this off because it defeats my point."
Over the support of.
It's funny how like the thing she just did would remedy the problem she's talking about.
Well, as soon as the radio host says, "Oh, and now Michael Jackson," you just turn it off.
Yeah, I know, right?
like when you notice like the music coming on, it's like, "Oh, fuck this! I'm changing the station."
Oh yeah, fuck that guy. I hate him. And then you just change the station. Yeah, I know. It's not like someone's being forced to be exposed to something like this. You know what I mean? Like they literally say before the song begins, "Hey, here's Michael Jackson." That's what radio stations do.
Someone who has fans, someone who has a platform, like they're basically gonna say,
I do not want this camera angle.
What is happening to the camera?
Now it's behind the steering wheel.
Wade
It's like flinging around the car.
That what he went through isn't real.
The sound quality just like dropped massively.
Yeah, now she sounds like she's on that other dude's fucking podcast.
Yeah. Jenny, there's a microphone in your phone.
Probably got her finger on her or something.
If it's too far away from you, we're not going to be able to hear you. It's not...
I think that's just disgusting. That was 96.
Well, I think you're disgusting.
San Diego. Now, I've been going on Twitter for a while, and when I hear radio stations play this child molester's garbage...
Oh my god.
I tweet them, and I say, cool, way to support a child molester. And then, like,
and they probably just think, fuck off, to be honest with you.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But Michael Jackson fans that are, like, completely ignorant will be like, no, he didn't do it. I love him. There were these two, like, beauty gurus I used to follow that were twins called, like, Sonia and Celia.
It's hard to relate, man.
And I followed them because they were cool, and they weren't, like, super commercial. They were just, like, hip young chicks that we also have the same...
hip unironically? Oh my god.
I played those sound bites, and I'm just... After, I got done, I'm like... I'm gonna tune into what she's saying, maybe I'll respond to something. And it's like, oh, they were, like, hip and, young and cool. Fuck. Should have just continued playing the sound bites.
And they're twins, and I thought they were cool. But they would, like, go on and on about how, like, Michael Jackson was their dad. And I was just, like, disgusted. That's so gross. So I made a comment.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, honestly. You shouldn't be calling Michael Jackson your dad.
That is true. Unless he actually is your dad.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like, hey, he's a fucking child molester, right? And blocked across all platforms. And it's like, just that level of cognitive dissonance, like
the irony.
Consumer over, like, protecting small victims, like helpless children. It's so ridiculous. And another person who does this...
Won't someone think of the children?
Yeah.
That's literally the argument.
Michael definitely did, and look at what happened.
Oh no,
I really like this feminist and follower channel is Leah Tepperly. She fucking has, like, Michael Jackson pictures, like, posters in her background. I'm like, are you joking? Like, you call yourself a feminist? Like, you don't even care about...
No true feminist.
What the fuck does protecting, like, the innocence of children have to do with feminism?
Because it's something that she perceives as a good thing, and good things must be feminist.
Okay.
I just... She really hates Michael Jackson. She should have a fight with Razor Fist about it, because he's like completely on the other side. That would be great. I would love that.
Dude, Razor Fist is the biggest Michael Jackson apologist that exists, I think.
He definitely is definitely very pro Michael Jackson, for sure.
And it's funny that he gave DP shit for having Mercedes Carrera on.
Oh, yeah, someone they didn't even know about.
Yeah, when it comes to like somebody he likes, it's like, oh, I'm hyper defensive of this person, even in, lieu of evidence that, goes against what I say. But then when it comes to like Mercedes Carrera and DP, it's like, oh, I don't like him, so, they're guilty. She did something because she got accused of it, and DP had her on years prior to this coming to light, so they're, they play a role in it too. Fuck them.
It's pretty fucked up, you're right.
Yeah.
Small children who've been abused, like in what way are you an activist, or are you only specifically?
So here's the thing, Swegta. Jenny makes literally a video response to literally anyone that talks about her, and she literally looks it up like constantly every day on YouTube. So she's gonna make a video like, "Oh my, Underhaven people, come out in support of molesting children."
Yes, we do. Jenny, listen, you can take this out of context if you want. We endorse child fucking.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Fuck you, Swegta. Fuck you. Disavow.
Activist when it comes to like armpit
Big bold
hair.
letter.
Like, give me a fucking break, dude. I also really like you, so don't be mad that I said that. But
don't be mad that I portrayed you as somebody who gives zero fucks about children getting molested.
Yeah.
I still like you.
I like you. You're cute.
Yeah.
I'm still like, what's your issue, man?
He's disgusting. He's a fucking gross, creepy child molester. Like, when they pulled him out of his house.
Alright, I think I get it.
He wasn't even found guilty of it, regardless.
I know.
Legally, he is not. You know what I mean? And that's ultimately what matters.
I know.
No, it's not.
Look at that fucking sourpuss face. Can we end this now?
Yeah. Alright, sure.
Get the fuck out my DMs, talking about Maryland, asking about heroin. I'm back on meth again, the perfect medicine for a Methodist kid. Sadistic, sick shit to live my live dick. Brand new breed of creature, the preacher of the doctrine, indoctrinating the nation of the brain dead. Having a brain in your head makes you hate it. You ain't hate it, then you waste it. I hate to tell the truth, but I'm a cannibal. Though I don't need brains like that motherfucker Hannibal. I'm real fucked up, I like to torture my poon. Cut out their damn eyes with